Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Rahayati Ahmad from UniSHAMS. I would like to present my study titled Assessing Takaful Agents' Expertise and Training, Implications for Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance in Malaysia. My research team are Professor Dr. Rashima Said from UiTM, followed by Dr. Marina Abu Bakar, Farah Nadira Abdul Rahman, and Siti Hafsha. We start our presentation with the background of the study. Malaysia is one of the Islamic countries aggressively expanding the Takaful industry growth. The total amount of compensation issued, according to Takaful Report 2020, Takaful for death compensation for all Takaful companies in Malaysia in that year was as much as RM809 million, which is close to RM810 million. This amount is very beneficial to Takaful contributors across the country. An increase in total death claims by Takaful institutions in 2021 amounts to RM1 trillion. Suppose the one-third of the death compensation in 2020 and 2021 is taken, which is 30% of the total compensation of participants. In that case, this amount represents almost RM240 million in 2020 and RM300 million death compensation benefit that could be handed over to religious institutions when the Waqf compensation scheme was seriously implemented. In the context of institutions that run Waqf-Takaful, a Takaful representative who applies for a position either as an agent or Takaful representative or support staff must have personal and educational qualities that can help the company achieve its goals. The need for Takaful agents/representatives who have more qualifications is seen to increase. Amin and Hamid, 2014, claimed that well-knowledgeable Takaful agents will educate and guide the public in financial relief to ease the burden of liability event if the participants die under the Syariah principle. The influence of experience and training of Takaful agents towards the implementation of Waqf-Takaful compensation governance in Malaysia is very crucial since they are the backbone of the Takaful companies to spread awareness of Takaful among Malaysians. Therefore, this study will analyze the roles of Takaful agents' expertise and training on the implications of Waqf-Takaful compensation governance in Malaysia. Next, we continue with the literature review and hypotheses. The documentation of the Waqf-Takaful compensation is important and complicated. A well-trained Takaful agent will ensure the Waqf distribution process is running based on the standard procedure set by the religious institution. Ahmad, 2022, claimed that the method of preparing special letters by Takaful companies to submit death compensation to the desired religious institutions were mandatory after the Takaful company get permission from the beneficiary. A letter of agreement of Waqf benefits between participant and desired religious institutions were signed before the Waqf can be transferred to desired religious institutions. Therefore, it can be hypotheses that Hypothesis 1a, documentation training has a significant positive relationship with document matters in Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Index, Wtcgi. Hypothesis 1b, documentation training has a significant positive relationship with operational matters in the Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Index, Wtcgi. Hypothesis 1c, documentation training has a significant positive relationship with governance matters in Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Index, Wtcgi. The second hypothesis is related to the operational training among the Takaful operators. Under Waqf-Takaful contract, the Takaful operator will accept the contributions from the participants. The contribution is deemed as capital, Rasul Mal, that will be managed and invested in a Sharia-compliant manner. M. Mabubi Ali et al., 2014, claimed that the contract specifies that any profit from managing the fund will be shared between the Takaful operator and participant based on the ratio agreed upon upfront. He added that understanding the overall process of Waqf-Takaful compensation governance required the operators to equip their knowledge of the operational process. It was hypothesis that Hypothesis 2a, operation training have a significant positive relationship with document matters in the Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Index, Wtcgi. Hypothesis 2b, operation training have a significant positive relationship with operational matters in the Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Index, Wtcgi. Hypothesis 2c, operation training have a significant positive relationship with governance matters in the Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Index, Wtcgi. Next, the third hypotheses were developed regard to level of experience of Takaful agents. Sulaiman et al., 2019, claimed that a well-designed Waqf-Takaful compensation needs to be run by well-knowledgeable and experienced professional officers and management who are well-versed in Waqf-Takaful systems for more excellent operations to achieve overall efficiency and effectiveness. Based on the above study, the Hypothesis 3A until Hypothesis 3C were developed. Hypothesis 3A. Experience has a significant positive relationship with document matters in Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Index, Wtcgi. Hypothesis 3b. Experience has a significant positive relationship with operational matters in Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Index, Wtcgi. Hypothesis 3c. Experience has a significant positive relationship with governance matters in Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Index, Wtcgi. Therefore, the conceptual framework of the study were as follows. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we continue with the research methodology. This study uses quantitative research aims to deeply understand the phenomena related to research questions, and the Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Index checklist was developed to examine the 4 Takaful companies: Etika family Takaful Berhad, Takaful Ikhlas family Berhad, Takaful Malaysia Keluarga Berhad dan Zurich Takaful Malaysia Berhad documentations, operation and governance. About 150 Takaful agents were involved in completing the checklist of the Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Index, Wtcgi. Only 106 Takaful agent samples were taken and used since there were missing data in the checklist that failed to be filled in by the agents. The unweighted method scores adopted with modification from the studies of Arsad et al., 2021, Said et al., 2016, and Rahayati et al., 2017, were as follows. The proposed model of the Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Index, Wtcgi, which were the dependent variables, were subdivided into 3 main components: documentation matters, DCM, operational matters, OPM, and governance matter, GCM. The table of the variables used in this study was as follows. Ladies and gentlemen, the data were processed using SEM-AMIS statistics software. The level of acceptance for every index of this study was at a good fit and acceptable, as shown in the table. The unstandardized structural model and standardized structural model were developed to explain the overall findings of this study. The overall findings of this study reported that documentation training organized by the 4 Takaful companies has a significant effect on the operation matter related to the procedure and standard operation, SOP, of the Waqf-Takaful compensation scheme run by the companies. The documentation training organized by the companies also had a positive relationship with the government matters which concerned the mechanism or systems used by the companies to control and operate the Waqf-Takaful compensation scheme by Etika family Takaful Berhad, Takaful Ikhlas family Berhad, Takaful Malaysia Keluarga Berhad and Zurich Takaful Malaysia Berhad. The second index used, which is the Operation Training Workshops, has a significant positive relationship with both Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Indexes, which are document matters and governance matters. This finding aligns with the study by Afif Muhammad et al., 2019, who found that most Takaful companies have provided sufficient training when they want to introduce new products. They also tried to find the best way to reach potential participants to increase their awareness of the new products which were introduced by the Takaful operators. Lastly, the third index used is experience. The experience of Takaful agents did not have any significant relationship with the 3 Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance Indexes, document matters, operational matters and government matters. Experienced Takaful agents are not the main criteria in the implementation of the Waqf-Takaful compensation scheme, since most of the Takaful agents have different backgrounds and education and have directly involved in contributing the ideas of new product development, and some of them had experiences in product development from the others industries. This finding was supported by the study done by Afif Muhammad et al., 2019, verified that nearly half of Takaful agents, 46.2%, have less experience, between 1 year to 5 years, compared to 30.8% of Takaful agents have more than 6 years experience in the area of Takaful product development. Conclusion: the main focus of this study is to analyze the influence of experience and training of Takaful agents towards the implementation of Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance in Malaysia of 4 Takaful companies in Malaysia: Syarikat Takaful Ikhlas, Syarikat Takaful Ikhlas Family Berhad, Etika Takaful Company, and Zurich Takaful Malaysia Berhad, which offered Waqf opportunities through the death compensation of Takaful products. The finding shows that well-trained Takaful agents have a significant positive relationship with Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance, Wtcgi, but the experience of the Takaful agents has no significant relationship with Waqf-Takaful Compensation Governance model. This study concluded that training is an initial element to ensure the implementation of Waqf-Takaful compensation in Malaysia. A well-trained Takaful agent was the key influence that helped the company to sustain good governance for the Waqf-Takaful model in most family/life Takaful companies in Malaysia, but also created a great contribution to support the development of socioeconomic growth in Malaysia. Thank you everybody for listening to my presentation.